Pete, and I'll just add my welcome to all of you for being here tonight for this evening conversation on playing God, redeeming the gift of power. And we're really excited to partner tonight with our friends Bob Freiling at InterVarsity Press and Pete Peterson at the Pepperdine School of Public Policy.
I think the place where a hopeful, honest conversation about power begins. And it is the very beginning, the book of Genesis, the book of beginnings, in which we first find this idea, although it comes up at other places in the Hebrew Scriptures as well, that God's culminating intention for creation is that it be full of his image. And at the climax of this story, in a kind of bonus round on the sixth day, God switches from the simple statement, let there be, to this cohortative statement, let us make human beings in our image. In the image of God he created them, male and female he created them. And then he tells them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. And at the end of this final act of creation, God no longer simply says the world is good, but now the world, now that it has the image of God in it, is very good. My go-to example for this, this transition from nature to culture, from good to very good, is the grape. Grapes are a good part of creation, and they exist without any human intervention. But image bearers, human beings, take the grape, and they cultivate it. They erect trellises for it to provide the maximum amount and just the right amount of sunlight and air and so forth. They harvest the grape, crush the grape, put the grape in certain containers. And if they are Baptists, at the end, they get grape juice, which is actually an extraordinary cultural achievement because preventing fermentation, it took about 19 centuries, I should say, for people to figure that out. However, if you're Anglican, as I am, you go through this process and you get wine. And I think we could fairly say, even biblically say, the grape is good, but wine is very good. And you only get wine when an image bearer intervenes and superintends this process. And while wine may be very good, when it is tended and produced by people of the greatest skill, cultivated literally over generations, it approaches something you could call glory. And I would say that the ultimate arc of the Christian story, reading the whole Bible kind of synoptically at once, is good to very good to glory. And it's image bearers who are meant to be in the world, eliciting all that possibility. And what happened to Rome over centuries? The results that Caesar was able to deliver became less and less certain, nowhere more than in the restless and restive province of Judea, right? There's not peace around the edges of the Roman world at the time that Jesus comes into the world. But at the same time, as Rome is less and less able to secure what it promises to its people, the emperors start assigning to themselves more and more elevated titles. They begin to demand more and more worship until, shortly after Jesus' time, they literally take on the titles and attributes of Roman divinity. They start out just as image bearers, as people using their power for the flourishing of those they lead. But because they cannot keep these extravagant promises, they end up taking on the role of a god while they exact incredibly burdensome taxes on the people at the edges of empire who get almost no benefits from their rule. It's the same pattern as idolatry. And indeed, I think you could say, and I try to say in the book, that injustice is just another form of idolatry, except rather than us worshiping things we've made, we actually put people in this position. And we say, be like God to us and deliver to us what God ought to deliver. But they can never do it, and they end up making extravagant demands, oppressive demands, even as they fail to deliver. Does my power lead to flourishing or mere affluence? The quick and evanescent affluence of idols? Or does it lead to the lasting and ever more fruitful flourishing of the kingdom that Jesus came to establish? These questions are the test of our lives, and they're the test of power. Thank you all very much for your attention.
Playing God is not easy to locate on the political spectrum, which is just as it should be. It is clearly taking its cues from a tradition of Christian reflection on politics that is different from modern liberalism, conservatism, or libertarianism. It is deeply committed to social justice and critical of accumulated privilege. It is suspect of coercion and prefers arrangements based on mutual agreement and mutual benefit. But it also provides a comprehensive, positively Burkean, defense of the role of institutions in human flourishing. They assume, in his description, unequal power. They require wise trustees. They shape our roles in life. All of this strikes me as one of the most creative evangelical arguments I've read for the traditional Reformed and Catholic principles of social solidarity and subsidiarity. A belief that the common good, defined by human flourishing, is undergirded by healthy social institutions.